Hi friends, welcome to Moody Blooms. I'm Mary Ellen and today we're going to learn about Echeveria succulents. Now the succulents box sent me a cute collection of a few Echeverias and we're going to unbox them and review some of the care instructions. Now how cute is this box that they send their succulents in? Look at all the succulents and cacti on there. It's adorable, right? Anyways, let's go ahead and get these unboxed and then we'll review their care. Please carefully and gently remove the packaging materials. So on the inside of the box, there's some instructions on how to care for the plants. There's light instructions, water instructions, temperature, and also if there's any questions, you can reach out to them and they'll get back to you within 24 hours. And gives their info on their website and their Facebook and Instagram page. Wow, these are packaged so well. So cute. It's an Echeveria Lola. Wow, these look great. Look how well they shipped. Very cute. Wow, even this taller one did so well. Super cute. And here is the last one. This is an Echeveria Pearl von Nurnberg. Oh, I love these. So pretty. And these all came from the succulent box. They came in these cute little terracotta pots. Okay, we have the Echeverias all unboxed and the green paper's been taken off. And look how cute. These turned out so great. They did a great job shipping them. This is the Echeveria Lola. Looks great. This is the blue elf. These are so cute. And of course the Atlantis. I'm really impressed with how well they shipped and how well they arrived and the condition that they were in when they came. Okay, let's move on to succulent care for Echeverias. Now these are pretty hardy plants. They actually require very little maintenance. They do well in a lot of bright sunlight. Some of them can have direct sun, but that's only after they've been slowly acclimated to a full sun type environment. But when they're this size, when they come, you definitely want to acclimate them to some stronger sun. Now, as far as watering goes, I prefer to water from the bottom up. And that just means that I fill up a bucket of water and I set the succulents in and then I let them, do their job and suck up all the moisture that they need for their plant. I do like the terracotta pots. These came in terracotta pots like this. And I do prefer my succulents in terracottas just because they do well. They dry out faster too. So that way there's, saving that chance of root rot. And, I love the look of them as well. Now these Echeverias don't need necessarily fertilizer. If you do want to fertilize your Echeverias, I would recommend doing that during the summertime or during the growing season. This is actually a Sedeveria. It's a hybrid between a Echeveria and a sedum. And when it gets in more sun or lack of water, or if it's in colder temperatures, not freezing, but colder temperatures, the tips of the leaves will actually turn like a bright magenta, burgundy pink. You can kind of see a little tip on there of pink already, but they'll turn just this gorgeous dark pink color when exposed to sun, increased sun, colder temps, and lack of watering. One of those three, any type of stress to the plant will cause that pink So one of my favorites, of course, is the Lola Echeveria, because my daughter's name is Lola. So these have a special place in my heart. But these, I just love the tight little rosette that they make. I just think they're adorable. These are perfect for, arrangements of succulents, but also flower arrangements. I've seen them used in wedding bouquets. They're just such a tight little compact succulent, and they actually look like a flower. They're pretty enough to be a flower, and they'll turn shades of like purple and pink depending on their sun exposure. So keep that in mind. Another favorite of mine is the Echeveria Perle von Nurnberg, and these are also known as PVN. Can't imagine why they'd shorten the name, right? Anyways, I love these because of the color contrast that they add to arrangements, and I love putting these on my succulent top pumpkins, and they just add the perfect splash of color. Now, depending on how much light they get, they will turn a deep, beautiful purple. You can see already there's quite a bit of purple on these, but they are prolific growers, and they do beautiful blooms. Another Echeveria beauty that you can't go wrong with these. If you're a beginner, this is a great one to start with. I highly recommend it. Next is the Atlantis, and this is actually new to my collection. I haven't had one of these before, but they are really cute. I love the shape of the leaves. They're cute little like scalloped edges. And the care for these is pretty much the same as other Echeverias. They love bright sun. Make sure to only water your Echeverias when the soil is completely dry. Now, if you're new to succulents, I highly recommend a moisture meter. These are super inexpensive. You can find them on Amazon. I believe the link's down below in the description, but they really helped me when I was new to plants and succulents. The number one killer of pretty much any houseplant is overwatering, especially with succulents, because they store water in their little leaves. And so they actually use less water than one might assume. So just keep that in mind, that less is more with your succulents, but just keep an eye on them. Keep an eye on the leaves too. You can kind of tell when they need water. They'll start to get a little bit droopy, and they'll definitely let you know when they need some water. Another key element is the soil. You want to make sure that the soil that you're using is a well-draining soil. We don't want it to be compact so that it holds on to water for too long. We want the water to get to the roots, but we want it to be able to dry out. That's why the terracotta pots are so great, because they do dry out faster than like a plastic pot or the typical nursery pot that the succulent comes in. So as for soil, any cactus succulent soil will do. I personally even add a little bit of perlite to my cactus soil, or I make my own cactus soil with just regular potting soil, and then I add sand and perlite for a 2-1-1 ratio, and that seems to work well for my climate. I'm in Southern California, so we pretty much have nice weather year round, and we can pretty much water year round. If you're in a colder climate, you're definitely going to reduce your watering in winter. Succulents are going to take less water during the winter season when it's colder. They don't dry out as fast either because of colder temperatures. So just keep that in mind, a well-draining soil. Also make sure that you're in a container that has a hole in the bottom. You want to make sure that it has good drainage. Without a hole in the bottom, it's difficult to maintain the water unless you're, a novice plant mom or dad, because, I do have some that are in containers without holes. If you're new to succulents or having trouble with watering, I would highly recommend only using a container that has a drainage hole. That'll definitely help you out with your watering issues. Another key element that we want to talk about is repotting. So you want to make sure you repot your Echeverias every 1 to 2 years. Of course, they can go longer, but what you're trying to do is make sure that the soil is not too compacted, but you also want to add some more nutrients and some fresh soil. So it's easy to do. You can gently remove them from the pot, gently take away any of the soil that's kind of stuck to the roots, and then add some fresh, well-draining soil. You want to make sure that they get some new, fresh nutrients to those roots. Now let's talk about propagating your Echeverias. Now, Echeverias are perfect to propagate. Most of them have these beautiful tight rosettes. And so if let's say, for example, you're not getting enough light to your succulent and they start to become etiolated, and that means that they're just growing kind of awkward and the stem's getting longer than it once was, and it's not as compact and beautiful as when you originally purchased it. And a lot of times it does this because it's trying to reach for the sun. It's not getting enough sun. And so it's trying to stretch out and reach to find the sun. So if that does happen, it's okay. We can just propagate it and you can multiply your Echeveria collection, which is another added bonus. But you can literally just snip it off the stem. I would leave, a little bit on the stem area so that it can produce new babies. You can also propagate these by removing the stem. Now you want to gently twist the stem so that you don't leave anything on the stem of the leaf. If you do, it's not going to propagate. It's got to be a perfectly twisted leaf. You can gently twist it and it'll come right off. The cuttings can be propagated in soil or in water, as well as the leaves. It's a little easier to do the leaves on soil, but if you're propagating it in soil, you want to make sure that you let the ends callus over for a few days, anywhere from like 3 to 5 days, maybe a week if you're in a more humid climate, because you want to make sure that end does truly callus over. And then once it does callus over, you can just stick it right back into the soil and then give it a little bit of time before you add some water. You want to make sure it has a little bit of roots before you start adding some water. And then if the leaves, you can just, lay them on some soil. I like to lay them on a layer of perlite on my soil. And then I just, spritz the soil or perlite. Now, Echeverias will naturally propagate via offsets. And the offsets are those little pups at the base of the stem. Now you can go ahead and just snip these off the same way we beheaded the Echeveria. And I would wait till they're medium size before you cut them, just to give them the best shot. I mean, if you cut them off really small, they'll still probably work. I mean, succulents are so resilient, but I prefer to have them be a medium size before I cut them. And you'll follow the same instructions as you did with the stem cuttings. You make sure they callus over, and once they're calloused, you can go ahead and set them in soil. But great propagators. These are a great way to, grow that collection by propagating them. Another thing we want to cover is the flowers. Now, most Echeverias have beautiful, either bell-shaped or cone-shaped flowers, and they come in beautiful, bright colors. And they really add a pop of color to the already beautiful, colorful succulents that Echeverias have. Some of these will send up like 5 or 6 spikes during the summertime is when they'll go ahead and do that. Now, a couple problems with the Echeveria. My number one problem with pretty much any succulent is the evil mealybugs. They are truly the devil. They are awful. They get on one plant, they go to another plant, and they can just spread like nobody's business. And so I highly recommend using either there's a couple different things you can do. I have a whole video on pests for succulents and plants, but just quickly, I mean, my favorite succulent soap will be down in the description as below. But you can even do a combination of like rubbing alcohol and water and like a drop or two of Dawn dish soap to spray. I use a concentrated insecticidal soap, and I just add a couple capfuls to a spray bottle of water, and then I directly spray it. They literally die instantly, and it's an organic pest spray. So, but all the links for those will be down below in the description. But you just want to make sure that they don't have any white cottony web-like substances. That's pretty much the first way to find out if you have mealybugs. Another thing is that you'll see lots of ants around your plant because the mealybugs will suck the sap out of your succulents, and the ants are attracted to that sap. So just be sure of that. Another thing is you'll start to see leaves will be deformed. They'll grow in like awkward shapes as opposed to like the beautiful, perfect shapes that they normally, come in when you purchase them. And so if you see that, it's probably getting some mealybugs and it's sucking out some of the nutrients. And so it's causing some deformities to the leaves. So just inspect your plants. I like to do it when I water them just to kind of check it out. Make sure there's nothing inside. You can look deep inside and there's nothing in these, but you'll definitely see the mealybugs for the most part. They're white cottony. They look like little white tiny cobwebs and stuff. So just keep an eye on your plants. We definitely don't want to have a mealybug problem. Another problem, other than overwatering is going to definitely kill your plant. It's going to turn your leaves soggy and mushy, and they will die. It'll cause the actual stem to rot. There's some ways to rescue that I cover in a few other videos, but for the most part, when in doubt, wait to water. Underwatering can also kill your plants. If you wait too long, it'll literally dry out and die. So, it's kind of the rule of thumb. You put your finger in the soil. If it's, dry about an inch or two down, then it probably needs some water. Or again, you could use the moisture meter. That's my favorite way to do so. But, and again, you can look at the leaves. You want to just keep an eye on your plant, look at the leaves of your Echeveria, and they'll pretty much tell you when they're thirsty or when they need a drink. So there's a few other pests that some people have had issues with. I've only ever had mealybug issues. So, but if you want some more information on other pests for Echeverias, I'll have links below to some more info, some more in-depth pest info below. So I hope you enjoyed these succulents from the Succulents box. They are just perfectly shipped and perfectly packaged, and they're really happy, healthy succulents. So you can visit their website, succulentsbox.com, and you can enter code Moody BLOOMS at checkout to receive 15% off your purchase. I hope you learned something new today, and I hope you pick up some Echeverias. If you're new to succulents, I highly recommend these beauties. I mean, how cute are these little plants? You just can't go wrong. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. We appreciate your subscription to our channel. It's free, and we love to read your comments. We are so grateful when we hear from you. Please leave them in the comments below if you have any questions at all, and we hope to see you next time on Moody Blooms.